See, it's stuff like this that gives me trust issues. Trust issues.
Welcome to the Trust Issues podcast. We have trust issues with the traditional society-dictated path, with the status quo, with the whole get an education, land a job, and work tirelessly until you're 6 feet under. It's time to upgrade your life with the help of us. I'm Erica.
And I'm Kyle Auckland. We're a husband and wife duo, but we're also entrepreneurs, biohackers, and business builders.
Every week, we're dedicated to having purposeful conversations with each other and leading experts on topics like wellness, relationships, and entrepreneurship.
Subscribe to Trust Issues Podcast if you're looking for bold topics, honest dialogue, and valuable lessons.
Welcome back to another episode of the Trust Issues Podcast. Today, I did a solo interview with Abigail Peugh, and I'm literally obsessed with her work. If you do not follow her on social media, you may not know what wave she's making in the UGC and the digital product world. If you are a content creator and you want to learn how to create your own digital products, you need to listen to this episode. Inside of it, we dive into how to grow on TikTok, how to grow on Instagram, how to start monetizing your audience with simple digital products, and even what UGC is and how to make money doing it. Abigail is a mom, she is a wife, she's an entrepreneur, and she is so successful that with her digital products, sometimes she'll bring in up to 6 figures a month from her digital sales. And she does it all through social media. You're going to learn so much in this episode. I cannot wait for you to dive in. And be sure to check out the show notes so you can follow Abigail and you can see all her offerings that she has. All right, let's get into it. Welcome, Abigail, to the Trust Issues Podcast. I'm so pumped that you're here today.
Me too. I'm so excited to be here.
Okay, we're just going to dive into it because I feel like your story is just so impactful. It's one that I feel like at this point from following you, I could tell to anyone. You know, you retiring your husband. I know that there was a moment in your journey where he unfortunately had 2 strokes. I want to hear about this story because this is really powerful and it was a very pivotal moment for you guys and where you have your business today and where you've taken it. But I would love for you to talk a little bit more about the success story and what was the catalyst for you and how you decided to make some of the changes that you've made.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it's funny. We moved to Boise, Idaho, right when I kind of blew up, right before I blew up. And a lot of people think oh, overnight success. And it's no, I've been in the online space for a very long time as a right-hand man, right? I've worked for other people. I've helped other people make millions of dollars. And so last year, my husband had 2 strokes in, I think it was April of 2022. And at the time I was doing, freelance stuff and I've always hustled. I've always done stuff on the side. That's just always who I've been. And after his strokes, I kind of realized hey, I need to pay medical bills, they were crazy. And B, I didn't want to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. I didn't want to live the way we were living anymore. And it took my husband having those health issues and not being able to help with my daughter. She's 3 now, but she was just barely 2 at the time. And it was so hard. And it was I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. I knew I could do it. I knew that I could find a way to help people online and reach so many more people. So I started my own brand, which I'd never done my own before. I had done other things where, I worked with other people or you collab and you give the creative juices and they make all the back end stuff work. But after his strokes, I kind of was just you know what? I need to do this for myself. I need to do it for my family. And I really need to just go all in. And so I fired some of my freelance clients and it was really scary. I started a TikTok and didn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell my husband until I hit 10,000 followers. And I was hey, my TikTok's going up.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't want people to see me fail because I was so nervous to fail and just so nervous to start something new and be very transparent. If you guys follow me or know anything about me, I'm very transparent with everything and very open and honest about things. And so I just felt nervous, but it has now changed our life so much in just over a year. It's crazy to think that last April he was in the hospital, in a bed for 3 months and couldn't help with my daughter and it was just full circle.
Wow, that's crazy. And I think there's an element of like when you're kind of in this do or die situation, you just get resourceful. And I think
Yep.
especially when you're a mom, mama bear energy comes out and you're just like, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to do it. And I've
Yep.
just been able to watch your journey has been so inspiring, so cool. You've inspired me personally to make moves in my business that I've been thinking about for years that for whatever, limiting belief reason that I've carried and
Yeah.
I've made excuses for and justified, you just give so many people permission. And so I want to dive into, okay, what is your business? And specifically, you are the digital product queen and the UGC queen. And I think that what is really inspiring and really cool to see is that you are helping people in the simplest ways. And I think in the online space, when you are looking, say, I'm a brand new budding entrepreneur or aspiring entrepreneur, and I'm seeing all of these gurus and all these people that, are going to teach me something, I feel that oftentimes it's very easy for them to make it over your head and overcomplicate everything and make you believe that in order to be successful online, you need to have 100 funnels, you need to have upsells, downsells, cross sells, 1,500 ways to get someone on your email list. And I just truly think that you are changing things because you are showing people that simplicity works and that you can make a significant amount of income from very simple offers. And it's really cool. So can we talk about your business, what you offer, and how you came into this? Because I know you've got UGC, you've got digital products that you also teach on. Where did it start and where has it taken you now?
Yeah. So I've been doing UGC, which we haven't called it UGC for 6 years, but I've been doing it for 6 years where I've always been creative, but I never wanted to be an influencer. So I started working with brands just to make their content. One of my clients, I've been with them for 6 years now. I love them. I make 3 to sometimes 6 or 7,000 if it's before a holiday from this one client. So, and I'm just creating content for them, right? I never posted to my page. That's what UGC is. So that's what I started with, right? My whole brand was kind of built around UGC and how to teach people how to make money with their content.
Just to pause really quick, just in case someone doesn't know what UGC is, it's user generated content. And it's exactly what you said. It's where you're creating content for a brand, just like you would as if you were an influencer, but you're giving it to the brand. They're paying you for it, and you don't have to post it on your own page. Am I missing anything there?
No, that's
Okay.
exactly what it is. And there's tons of different forms of UGC, right? Some brands will use it for paid ads, other brands will just use it for organic social, which I mainly do UGC for brands that's organic social media. So I'm just creating their content that then they're using for their social media. But another side of it is the ad side, which is so fascinating and fun to get into if you love marketing. I started my brand on that. That's what I started my TikTok on. I became known in the UGC community, which last summer, if you guys aren't on TikTok, UGC blew up on TikTok last summer. It was the hot thing to do. Everyone was excited. But there was nothing out there that was low ticket, right? When I got onto TikTok in June of 2022, I was like, wow, there was 3 people selling courses for $500 to $700, which I'm sure they're amazing courses. They're great. But I was like, there's got to be people who just want a starter entry thing, right? They just want to know if they can do UGC. They don't want to invest their life savings to buy something they might not do. So I started out I launched it at $35, I think. And then it went up to 37 and then 47. So I started out with a UGC starter kit. It was a PDF guide. And that was my first idea. And in the first month, I made over $10,000 selling it. This was with TikTok alone. I was not on Instagram. I had an email list, but I had started the email list in June and it just kind of blew up. And I fell in love with the digital aspect and being able to help people with something that I'm passionate about and doing it in a way where I could do it with my toddler, right? I have a 3-year-old. UGC is hard to scale because you need quiet. You need to be able to think really hard on the videos sometimes. And it's hard to scale that with a toddler. She's loud and playful, which as she and so I kind of was like, hey, I love this digital product stuff. I had seen a lot of success with it. And I launched my UGC. I did a UGC boot camp and it was funny. It was pulling teeth to get 30 people to sign up and $150. I think everyone always thinks
Wow.
everything they do is gold and everything sells out immediately. And I'm I had the launches that didn't sell out to learn all of this, right? And I did that live training with all of them. And it was like, it just really opened my eyes to what was possible. And like, I grew up wanting to be a teacher, and then I volunteered and realized that they make no money and they give their life away to other people, who never see their families. And so it was cool to realize that like I could teach people and like really like follow my dreams of being a teacher and still hit the income goals that I want to make, right? Like I
So
want
good.
generational wealth for my kids. I want my grandbabies, my great 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 grandbabies to feel what I did. And it's like you can't do that with UGC or being a teacher. So with digital products, I really just realized like there's this whole entire world of people that like have no idea how to do a low ticket digital product, have no idea how to even get out there. And like, I know online courses are popular and like they're amazing, but like not everyone wants
Mm-hmm.
to start with an online course. And I don't think they need to. And so just kind of like learning everything myself and then turning around and teaching it has been so much fun. And what you said earlier about like overcomplicating things, it's so true. There are so many like gurus and people that I've learned from, yes, but they come out with these programs that are like A to Z, and they're so overwhelming. And like you said, like the funnels and 87 funnels, like I have two very simple funnels that have made me hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point, and they are not complicated. They're like you don't have to complicate things. I use a stand store. My website is not where my sales come from. Like I've just simplified it so much for people because people get scared to start when something that's complicated. And I was the same
Mm-hmm.
way. Literally, it took me years to launch this brand because I was like, I don't know how to have a website. I don't know how to take payment. I don't know how to do this. And like Stand Store has made it so easy. So just teaching people like the beginning steps rather than like, here's how you're going to grow your business to 7 figures. No, they're not ready for that yet. Like maybe someday, yes, but that's not where they're at now. So teaching people in a way that's like, here's, A to C, and getting them running and getting them going. And then they're able to learn things on their own and kind of discover how they want to do something because we don't
Mm-hmm.
always want to do it all the same, right? Like we're not all these cookie cutter businesses. So it just, yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
It's so cool because exactly what you said. I think that, and I've been, for anyone who's listening and who's been a chronic course purchaser where you purchase the courses because the marketing's so good, right? The marketing is like, oh, it's going to teach you this and this is and you see the testimonials and you see all this stuff. But then you're like, well, what's wrong with me? Like, why haven't I been able to finish the course? I can't tell you how many courses I have that I never finished because it's just too overwhelming. It's too much information. And therefore I can't be a testimonial for them because I could just never get through it. Right. And I think there's something to be said about people, especially today. I think we are all in such overconsumption because short form video, you can go through TikTok and just on your For You page within 15 minutes, you're going to get 100 different tips on marketing because people are just giving away all this stuff for free. And then you're just like, your central nervous system's freaking out because there's so many
Yep.
things to do. And I think what you do is so brilliant because you've taken such complex concepts and you've made them simple. And that's why you have so many people who are having success after they work with you because it's like, yeah, like let's just start at the beginning. So if you were a brand new creator, say, and I think there's a lot of brand new creators who are going to be listening to this episode and who are really thinking, I want to create my first digital product and I want to start by monetizing my platforms, but I don't know really where to start. I don't know, who would buy from me? What would I even create? How would I even find the people to buy from me? What if I launch it and no one buys from me? All those things that they question, you and I both know.
Yep.
Where would you start someone? Where should they start in order to start taking those steps to create their first digital product and start making their first sales?
Honestly, I think people need to decide what problem they want to solve for people first, because growing an audience on social media and growing, an audience full of people that want to buy from you is not as hard if you know the problem you're going to solve for people. It's so much harder to be like, well, there's like 5 things I'm passionate about and I want to post about all 5 of them every day and I'll just have 5 digital products. I'm like, well, then you're trying to attract 5 different types of people that you're going to solve the problem for them, right? And so I think like really deciding what problem you want to solve and then going all in on that one first. Now, that's not to say you can't pivot down the line. You can't add things on, right? Like with me, I started with UGC and then it was kind of a natural progression to add digital products because I had so many people asking questions about it and wanting to know like, how are you doing this? I want to learn from you. So just start with the problem that you want to solve for people and start creating content around that problem, how you're going to help them with it, and start talking about you and your journey in that problem. Like, so many people come to me and they're like, well, I have a great digital product, but I have no testimonials. Like, the only reason you're making sales is because you have testimonials. And I'm like, I didn't at the beginning. Like, I started from zero too. I did not, my testimonial was me. Like, you are your own testimonial at the beginning. You are the proof that what you're teaching works. And I think that's another reason why I'm so passionate about teaching people to sell digital products that is based on something that they've done, that they've accomplished, not something that they like, you know, they're just trying to emulate something else because, you know, they're seeing that this person is making sales. And it's like, you are the reason people buy. So if you sell something that has nothing to do with you and your success, like, nobody's going to connect with that. Like, it doesn't make sense. There's a total disconnect there. So coming up with the problem that you solve for people, and then just start talking about it on social media, start creating content, start seeing how people like resonate with it, right? You never know what people want at the beginning either. You kind of have to like feel them out, right? Like, I didn't know when I started my TikTok that I was going to have a UGC starter kit. I kind of thought that's what I was going to do, but I waited to hear from people. And I had so many people asking me, how do you get started as UGC creator? How do you get started? How do you get started? Like, hundreds of comments. And I was like, okay, I need to create something that's very beginner, basic, even if they just want to get into it at all. So just figure out the problem you want to solve for people and start creating content around how you're going to help them solve that problem.
So good. It's like validate it before you create it, you know, like
Yes.
just start at step one. It's so funny too, because I think that there is an element of talking about the problem, which I would love for you to talk about, you know, how to grow on these platforms. Because I think that's a huge question people have. I have a friend of mine. She's a celebrity nail artist. She's incredibly talented. And she's just trying to get into a new phase of her life where she can monetize online versus always being the person who's, you know, in the chair doing the nails.
Yep.
And I told her, I was like, go on TikTok and just start talking about all of the problems, the biggest problems you ever faced as like the negatives really as a nail artist. And it was like in 24 hours, she had like over 7,000 TikTok followers. And I was like, this works, you guys. Like, if you're listening to Abigail and you're like
100%.
trying to find another way, it works. And I think now she's probably over like 20K or something followers. And she shares all of the nightmare stories and stuff. And I think that there is an element of, if you're trying to sell something to someone, you have to understand that they're not up at night thinking about all of the good things. They're like, how can I get rid of this thing that's really making my life stressful, or, you know, that they want a solution for. So it is so real. It's so true. So you need to listen to Abigail's advice. If you were to start brand new on let's say Instagram first, because I know you have your Instagram class and you taught that, and I took your class and it's so phenomenal, and everything I did that you said worked. So if you guys check out her classes and everything, because your stuff is just so good. But if you were to start today on Instagram, you know, what are some do's? What are some don'ts? What would your strategy be? And I know this is probably relevant to you as well, because I've just watched your growth in the last even 6 months. And if you guys aren't following her, you will now, because you're going to see how fast you are growing and how many thousands of followers you're growing per month, per quarter. It's insane. So what do new creators need to do in order to grow on Instagram right now?
Yeah, honestly, Instagram is I feel like people think it's a dead platform. It's not. It is alive and well and amazing. But Instagram, you have to do two things. You have to show your personality and a reason for people to connect with you, which is what I do in my stories. I get a little bit more, you know, personal in my stories. I talk a little bit more, like about a little bit about our family life, not a whole lot, just because I don't want my daughter like plastered on the internet everywhere. But really like taking them through my life through the lens of my content creation business, right? Like, I'm very careful to make sure that everything that I'm talking about somehow relates to my business in a small way. And it doesn't have to be like super relatable to my business, right? Like, I'm not like only business on my stories, but I do make sure that everything I'm sharing is like through the lens of my business, right? And then reels, honestly, doing reels that are like reaching more people. So like outreach reels, and things where It's very basic and very like people know instantly if they want to watch my reel or not. I think a big mistake people make is getting really deep in their reels. Like our brains are like little squirrels. With social media, you were just like scrolling so quickly and watching so many things and information overload and so many reels I see people doing, they're like on level 10 and I'm like, people don't even know where you're at. They have no idea what you're talking about. So really dumb it down. And again, talking about the problem that people have and how you're going to help them solve it. And then doing like inspirational stuff. I feel like that does really well on Instagram right now too, where you're just like telling your story and inspiring other people. You guys, the amount of messages I get from people saying like my husband had a stroke or my wife had a stroke and like this is happening to us, like it's just like a whole community of us that have had, you know, spouses with health issues and like just sharing my story. And like, do I love that my business was started on the backs of that? Not really. I don't love talking about that story. And yes, I get comments from people who are like, wow, you're making money off of your husband's illness. I'm like, it's called storytelling.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
sorry it happened to me. Like I didn't choose this. But really just like
Yeah.
taking people through your journey and like who you are. So many people get on Instagram and it's like all business and all the problem that you solve. But it's like people still want to know you. They want to know about
Mm-hmm.
you and your story. And so I like to tell people you kind of take people through like a journey, right? Like a circle on your Instagram. The beginning, your story, why you got started, the success you're seeing now, kind of a little bit deeper, and then you start over. Like you keep circling back and telling your story and talking about who you are. If you guys follow Jenna Kutcher, she's really good at this. And like if you've followed her for more than a few weeks, you know that Jenna Kutcher got started with a $300 Craigslist camera and built her empire off of becoming a wedding photographer. And it's like, you know her story, right? And so you really have to like take people along for this journey because you are the differentiating factor. Like your story and how people connect with you, right? Like there is no new information on the internet. Everything is out there. All the content that's been done has already been done. Like nothing is new anymore. So it's a matter of differentiating yourself by being you and showing up as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then people want to learn from you, right? There are tons of people who teach on UGC. There are tons of people who teach on digital products, but people want to learn from me because of the connection they have made with me, not necessarily because my product is like better than everybody else's. Like I think we all have great products. We all have something to offer, but like we deliver it in a different way and people resonate with it in a different way based on you and who you are.
So
That was a
good and
mouthful.
so true. And it's so juicy. It's so true. And I think that, you know, you are right. I think if you go to on TikTok, everyone's dogging on Instagram. They're like, Instagram is dead. And, you know, I'm actually seeing the opposite. And think I heard you say this one time. I can't remember where, but you said like, it was funny how you've noticed where some people are just good on TikTok and then some people are good on Instagram, but very few are good on both. And I'm like trying to be good on both, but it's not like necessarily working. I'm like, Instagram's just always where I feel the most comfortable and it feels like it just
Yep.
flows. And it's where I get like 99% of my business.
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk about TikTok? As I think TikTok is also still, there's so much growth for TikTok too. Obviously different
Yeah.
type of demographic, but you also build a huge audience on TikTok. So how'd you
Twice.
do that? Twice. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Tell us that story. Wait, what do you mean twice? What?
So when I started my first TikTok last summer, there was this, I was like at 94,000 followers. My business was like doing amazing. I think it was like month 3 or 4. And like everything, like every month I was doing better and better. I did have one like slow month because I had COVID for 3 weeks, which was lovely.
Oh,
But you know, my business was like growing and growing. And then there was this troll on TikTok that came after, like, there was like 10 of us creators, that they were like reporting our videos, like nothing was wrong with them. I even hired my lawyer to watch my videos and be like, I'm not breaking guidelines. Like, what the heck is going on? So my TikTok got banned, 94,000 followers down the drain. Like one morning woke up, it was gone. I didn't get it back for an entire month, which was crazy. So like one week in, I think not even a week, like maybe 4 or 5 days in, I was like, you know what? F it. I'm going to start a new one. So I started a new one and grew that one to like 90,000 in like 4 months, 3 months, like way sooner. I knew what I was doing. And I grew it really. So my one that I have now is my second one that I've grown. It's at like 97,000 now. So I grew my TikTok twice, not just once, which is wild. It was
so the girl knows how to grow a TikTok. Like she's
yeah,
not done it once but twice. Okay, so how do you grow on
yeah.
TikTok? What do you feel like
So
works?
TikTok
Because
is
it's
like,
definitely a different vibe.
Oh yeah, you cannot treat TikTok and Instagram the same, and I think that's why people fail at both is because they treat it the same. And you guys, like, I spent a month on TikTok when I was growing it, but like I analyzed everything. I paid attention to why things worked. I paid attention to like, okay, this person said this wording, and that worked for people. People resonated with that. Like it is like you are constantly just learning from people on TikTok and seeing why people do it. But in my opinion, TikTok is an outreach platform. It is your top of funnel. It is where people are finding you. I will say TikTok, in my opinion, on the turn it's kind of taken, it's very different now than it was back then. It's still easy to grow if you know what you're doing, and it's still a great platform for like getting yourself out into the world. Like I was booked for 2 speaking gigs from that. A lot of things came from TikTok, but it's definitely like a top of funnel thing. So I don't recommend people necessarily start on TikTok unless they want to go like all in. I think a lot of people start on it while they're also like trying to do 3 other platforms, and it's like you really have to like fully immerse yourself into the app and learn what people want. And it's very like it's very different from Instagram. So on TikTok, if you want to sell a product, a digital product, you really have to leave people kind of wanting more at the end of your videos and wanting to go click the link in your bio. If you say, I have this resource for you, it's in the link in my bio, nobody wants that on TikTok. It's like you have to like not trick them into going to the link in your bio, but you have to leave them wanting like, dude, this girl is doing this. Like she's got to have more in her bio. I want to go check it out. Whereas like on Instagram, you could say, comment this word and I'll send you the link, and it converts. Like people love that. They want the resources. They want it from you. So TikTok is still like an amazing place for growing and really getting like your name out there. And like, it's amazing for opportunities. Like I said, got 2 speaking gigs. One of the speaking gigs I got paid for, and they paid for our week at Disney World, and we got to take my daughter to Disney World. Like it was wild. Like it was just this like dream thing. And they found me on TikTok. So totally you can grow, but it's very different. It's more like conversational. It's definitely more like you have to like show up on your TikTok as if you just like randomly had this thought that day. Like my videos that have gone like 1.2 million viral, I'm in my car, disheveled, my daughter's asleep in her car seat, like things like that on TikTok. Like the more you look like you don't care, the better those videos look. So it's wild, but definitely still a lot of potential there. And like I said, all of my, my first month that made over $10,000 was from TikTok. Like I wasn't really active on Instagram. And I grew my email list to like, I want to say in the first month, I grew up by like 7,000 on TikTok because I had a freebie, and that's all I had at the time. I didn't have my product done. It was either 5 or 7,000. I can't remember. Either way, it was like wild. I had no idea. So growing an email list from TikTok, I think would be genius too, because people want those freebies. People on TikTok like are definitely more into like the freebie stuff, finding you, learning a little bit about you, and then they come to your Instagram and you can nurture the shit out of them and sell to them like crazy on Instagram. You cannot do that on TikTok.
So mind-blowing. So with TikTok, say there's a creator who's listening who wants to use it to build her email list, which I think that is a genius strategy, because I have seen myself where I have TikTok followers who will like what I post, and then they'll come to Instagram and talk to me, and then it's just a different type of person who's watching on TikTok versus the person who actually comes and hangs out on Instagram. How would you suggest they start building their Instagram how would you suggest that they build their email list through TikTok? Are you like going through the tips that's in your thing and then you say it casually? Because if you're saying people don't really like to be sold to, they don't want to hear. And I heard you're not supposed to say link in bio on TikTok. Am I right on that?
Yep. I say link in bio if I want to say it.
We need code words, people. Code words. Okay. So how would you suggest someone start to grow their email list with TikTok? What would you do? What would you say? How do you make it
definitely
sneaky?
creating like conversational videos talking about, so give me an example, give me a niche example, and I'll give you an example of the video that I would make for it.
So I have a friend who she's a doula. She's a nanny, and she's a children's health like expert, and she's putting together products to help basically families eat healthier so that their toddlers can eat healthier, removing dyes from their food and all that kind of stuff. So that's her niche. What would she do?
Got it. Okay. So for her, I would get on TikTok, just pick up your phone where you're at. Like really the more the more like conversational and literally just like you picked up your phone and you're talking. I have a loopy case just for TikTok in particular because like the movement of the videos on there, when it's stagnant on a tripod, it doesn't do as well. But like when you're like moving, and not like I don't go like this with my phone, but like showing the movement, the natural movements that I do. You guys can watch my TikTok videos and see there's much more movement in them, and that's on purpose. So for her, I would get on and start talking about, obviously if she has the permission of people to talk about their stories, like people she's worked with maybe, or who have seen the results, talking about like, yeah, and like this kid that I worked with, like he was eating this food and he was miserable all the time. And he was so unhappy and cranky and just having tantrums. And then we like shifted little things. Maybe we took food diet out of his diet. Maybe we took this out of his diet, right? And just talking about that. And then I don't have like call to actions in my TikTok videos. I end them just kind of like, people are like, how do we do this with my toddler? And then when they ask in the caption, you're like, oh, dude, I have a free list of foods that you should be avoiding. Like that's in my bio. That's a great place to start. And then they want that, right? So you have to leave people wanting more on TikTok. You have to like, sometimes I'll literally like delete my last video, like clip in the video, because I want people to be like, where's the rest, right? Like that is a genius place to build your email list because people want the freebies. They want free stuff on TikTok. And it is literally like my UGC freebie literally has over 50,000 downloads at this point. And most of those came from TikTok. Like it just blew my mind how many people wanted the free stuff. And now they're on my email list. I'm able to nurture them and sell to them there. So just finding ways to like tell the story, get people intrigued, right? And like anyone who has a toddler that has ever thrown a tantrum is going to be like, wait, what? Food dye is not good for my child? I did not know that. Things like that. And then you pull them in and you get them on your freebie. So TikTok is amazing. I love it.
I have an idea for your next digital product. You should do how to grow on TikTok right now and like give us the full breakdown. It's in your okay. Well, there it is, you guys. And boot camp is coming soon. At the time of this airing, I think it'll be launched by then. So, okay, amazing. Like so many good little nuggets there that I think if you're listening and if you're not like your mouth wide open, you're not taking notes, like I don't know what you're doing because that's so good. So obviously there's the top of funnel, and there's reels and there's TikToks and there's all of that, but then there's actually selling on your platform. So I know that you talk more and you have your masterclass that you teach on how to sell from Instagram. What are some top things that people need to maybe reframe their brain around, or how to start sharing naturally so that you can make sales? I think a lot of people feel like sales needs to happen a certain way, or you can't sell someone something until you've talked to them 100 times. But I think what I love about how you share is you're just naturally putting in your digital products. Like you said, you're just like in the flow of your every single day life. If you have a testimonial that you post, you're like, yeah, here's the guide that she had. So it feels so organic and it doesn't feel pushy and salesy. But obviously it's working because at this point, and you're so transparent with your income, which I think is so refreshing as well, because a lot of creators aren't. And you give your updates. This is what my monthly income was last month. It was like $90,000. Like so incredible to see you share that. But obviously the way that you're selling is working, but it's not, I think, what everyone would expect. And I think that's cool. So like talk us through kind of your strategy around that and your mindset, and how should we reframe our mindset around sales when it comes to selling from social media?
Yeah. So I think like when people hear the word sales, we think of like someone knocking on your door and like trying to sell you something you don't want. And it's like, sales are not slimy. In my opinion, selling is serving, right? Like I am serving my audience by selling to them because I sell in a way that's an invitation to buy, right? Like I do not show up in my stories. I see a lot of people doing this. They're like, I'm not selling my digital product. And I go to their story and it's literally, they post like one story a day and it's like all this information on their digital product, the technicalities, how many pages, everything that's included. And then they're like, link to buy right here. And it's like, there's no invitation there. It's literally just like, blah, here's all my stuff. And it's like, you have to sell the outcome of your digital product in order for it to be successful. So every single day I'm thinking, okay, what outcome am I selling today? And like for me right now, like I'm in Oregon, spending a week here at a hotel, visiting my little sister. My husband doesn't work anymore. I'm able to work and still make really good money while we're here. And like, that's the outcome I'm selling people, right? So I think like showing up on Instagram in a way that's storytelling the outcome and the outcome people can get from your digital product, and then inviting them to purchase it. Like, if there's not a link in my story, my sales are exponentially lower every single day. You have to constantly have it available for people without shoving it down their throat. Like, I do not do timers. I do not do like last chance and then have it up all the time. Like, I want people to know that like my product is always there and ready for them. And I'm not shoving it down their throat. I'm just having it available for them, right? Like, if you follow me for more than a month, you know the products that I offer. And it's not the case with a lot of people. I see so many people like they have all these followers and they have great products and they're like, it's not selling. And I'm like, I didn't even know you had it. I didn't even know that existed. Like, if I don't know what product you have, you're not talking about it enough, right? Like, it's your job to sell your digital products, nobody else's. Like, you have to show up and really have the invitation for people to be able to purchase from you.
So good. And that's what you do every day. You know, you'll share in your daily life. One of the things that I think you do so well, and now if you are listening, you will follow Abigail and you can see her do it every single morning. And I think there's also an element of predictability that we like, because every single morning you're like, okay, it's 10 a.m. and this is how much how much I've done in sales so far for the day. It's 9 a.m. It's 11 a.m. Like, and every single day you are sharing that. And I think that makes people so curious, want to know more. However, I'd love to know what you would say to people, because I think there is an argument, and I know you address this on your social, where people say, well, that's good for you because you're teaching people how to make money. But what if I'm in a niche and I don't teach people how to make money, and I'm just, the toddler nutrition expert, or I'm the birth worker and I want to help people learn how to prepare for birth, or I'm the person who's helping people whiten their teeth naturally at home, or whatever. What do you say to those people who don't have the money testimonial or the outcome in that way? I mean, I think I know what you're going to say, but I think this is such a good argument, because people are like, well, if I'm not teaching how to make money or how to grow on social media, then I can't make money. And I hear that a lot.
That's just a big fat lie. And I feel like it's our brains trying to trick us into like, well, I don't teach that, so I can't make that kind of money. And first and foremost, like, I have showed up on my Instagram stories for 7 months every single damn day. And I think a lot of people are, kind of take it as a cop out with me. They're like, oh, well, you sell on how to make money. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And yes, it is a profitable topic, but also I show up every damn day. I show up on the hard days. I show up on the days that I don't want to be on the internet, right? Like, it is consistency, and consistency in your marketing is something that, like, no matter what you sell, if you are consistent and you pivot to what people want to hear from you, you can sell and make money with digital products. Now, the outcome of making money is not the only thing people need. I have a student who has, how many followers does she have? Not a lot. I think she must be under 15,000. I think she was even under 10,000 when she launched. She sells a guide on how to have 2 kids under 2 and made $7,000 in her first month. Like, you do not need to have an outcome of selling or making money. Like, there are so many other outcomes out there that people need help with. They want help with that. And even she was like, I was kind of skeptical, and like, I blew her mind. And now she's like working on other digital products, working on her next one. It's just, the problem you are solving is more important than, oh, I'm not, making money for people. It doesn't matter. There's other problems out there that people have. And I think it's more about showing up consistently to get all the buyer types, which I think a lot of people miss that. They talk about their product for 2 weeks, they have a great launch, and then they're like, I'm not making money anymore. I'm like, well, you're not talking about your product anymore. I talk about my product every single damn day. You know that I'm going to be talking about it in my stories. You wake up every day and you know that there's going to be a story about what I made in my sleep. And it's like, you don't have to have that type of story every day. It's more about the repetition and something people can look forward to. So one of my students sells a course on how to take your physical products wholesale. And her thing every single morning, she has like really funny coffee mugs. And like one of hers that she shared one day was like, it said like Happy Father's Day or something funny. And it was like all the kids, and they were sperms, and it was all the kids' names. But the company sent the wrong cup, so it had somebody else's name. And it just like, it was so funny. And I told her, I'm like, you have the funniest mugs. Your story every day should literally just be your mug that you're using. Like, Exactly. And like the reverse engineering and how she's connected that to her business is that because she went wholesale, now she doesn't have to have a brick and mortar. Now she can choose to go into the office whenever she wants. She can take her morning and have a slow morning and drink her coffee. And it's like, it doesn't necessarily need to be like so related to your business. It's just something that people can look forward to every day and wake up excited that you are going to share that every day. So believe me, making money is not the only topic and outcome to sell. One of my other students, they asked to remain anonymous, but theirs was not on making money at all. And they had a $50,000 launch with a product that was under $100. It is possible, right? Like they blew you guys, mind you, my first month I made 10,000. My student, 5 times that in their first month. Like it's insane. There's
Whoa.
so much
What
out there,
niche
and like
what niche were they in? Were they in like health and wellness or
health and wellness, something. If I
health and
say
wellness?
exactly what it is, everybody will know. I talk about them in my
Okay.
stories a lot.
Okay. Okay. Don't worry. You
Um,
don't
yeah,
we will keep
it
them
was
secret and anonymous.
Yes, it was 100% nothing to do with making money, and just a pain point that a lot of people had, and they went really hard on this pain point, and they listened to everything I said. It was so incredible to see them kind of just evolve and see what it turned into because they listened to me every step along the way. Like they took risks, they, invested in my boot camp. They then went and got, like terms and conditions to protect their digital product and all these things where they were just like, okay, like we're trusting you, we're trusting you. And then they had this launch and I was just like, oh my God, like nobody deserved it more than them. And they worked so
Oh
hard
my
for it. And
gosh.
now like their life is forever changed. Like
Wow.
it's the coolest thing ever.
And that is what I think is so cool about what you do is that ultimately at the end of the day, you're helping people change their life. Because we know, you and I both know, and it's one of my biggest passions, and it's what keeps me showing up on my platforms every single day is if I can help families and mamas stay home with their babies, and if I can help families create an income stream from home that allows them to have that freedom of choice of what
Yeah.
they want to do with their day and how they want to spend it. Like there is no greater joy than seeing someone win and have that. And it's truly so cool to see you doing that. So amazing. What is next for you? Like where can we find you? What's next for you and your brand? You mentioned the boot camp. Tell us what that is so that if someone's listening and they want to jump in your boot camp, where can they find more details about it and what is it so that they can know if it's for them?
Yeah, so I have a digital product boot camp and it's pretty much just everything to get you going with digital products. Like I have a starter kit as well, but with the boot camp, I hired guest trainers to do things that like you also need, but like I'm not an expert in it, right? So I hired all these guest trainers in there kind of teaching you everything you need at the beginning because like the email templates, like literally everything you need to launch. And it also comes with office hours with me, which I'm really excited about because I feel like a lot of people, they hear information and they need someone to say it to them. They need them to like have it applied to them. So I really wanted to do something where, they could get a course and learn everything. And it's not 800 modules, you guys. It is very to the point. I am not a fluff girl. I tell you what to do and I tell you why you should be doing it. I don't give you 800 options to choose from, which is something else I have an issue with courses where they're like, you could do this or you could do this. I'm like, I'm literally paying you to tell me what to do because I don't know what to choose. Like, don't give me more options, please.
Yeah.
So my boot camp is just my pride and joy. I love it so much. And I love that, you get a little bit of me inside of it. And so, yeah, I'm Abigail Peugh on all of my platforms and I'm hopefully launching a podcast end of this year. We'll see. So that is
Oh my
hopefully
gosh.
what's next for me. Again, it's hard with a toddler. You know how it is. Like, it's just hard. And my daughter is a mama's girl. So time away from me is like hard on everybody, hard on her, hard on my husband, hard on me because I feel awful. Like, so a lot of ebb and flow with my business just because, like I built this so I could have more time with my family. And I'm really good at what I do and I love what I do. So I love helping people. But like when people ask for a one-on-one and I have to say no, I'm like, oh God, I hate saying no to things. But
No.
it's hard. You're just like constantly trying to like help more people without letting it like take over your whole life. And I think that's what I love about digital products and
Yeah.
PDFs and courses and everything is that like I'm really able to serve and help them so much. And I've hopefully found a way to, do the office hours where they're able to get some questions answered without me having to like do 700 one-on-ones a month because like I don't have the capacity for that. It's a lot. It's hard.
That's so good.
And I'm like, I'm like fully enthralled in what I do. Like I can't just like I can't half-ass things, right? So boot camp, I'm very excited about it. It'll be out by the time you guys get this, and very, very excited for that.
It's going to be so good. I can't wait to see your launch. I'm going to be front row, like, let's go. And we'll link all of that in the show notes. So if you're listening and you want easy access to just go and follow Abigail and find all of her stuff, check out her stand store. We'll link all of that so that you can really benefit, because I have personally taken some of your things and it's phenomenal and you're doing amazing work. So thank you so much for being on the show. Thanks for taking time away from your baby, from your family, and I know all the things you have going on. I know this is going to benefit so many people, so I appreciate you.
Absolutely.